One of the big things that people don't understand is that creating debt is a super important thing. When you use the credit system correctly, that debt can be very good. In short, there's an enormous pool of cash that the Fed controls that is available for every American. That's good debt. You can get that cash. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars of that cash. That's part one. 2, creating a private bank. 3, getting private funding. Any human being right now, I can get up to $6 million in business capital for in the next 24 hours just by being an American citizen.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, whenever this podcast finds you. I'm your host, Andrew Jones, here with the Roundtable Talk podcast. We have a special VIP guest. Shavu, how you doing?
Wonderful. Aloha. Thank you so much for having me on. Andrew, it's great to meet you. What's happening?
Likewise. So before we jump down, you were telling me a bit about what it is that you do and who it is that you serve. You care just to let our audience know, our listeners know more about what it is that you do.
Good question. I basically would say that I make it simple. I've discovered a very interesting way to make it very simple to earn a significant income, multiple 6 figures, without social media, without posting anything, without being on any social media of any type, and without having any, quote, customers to sell to. So I don't have to make phone calls. I don't sell anything to anybody. I don't need a client base because what I do is built in. All of my clients are built into the system. In addition to that, if the economy dumps or if it's real bad, it actually makes no difference to me because since I'm involved in international equity markets, the markets are always available. So during COVID, during 2008, during any market turndown, my business continued to thrive. In addition to that, I help set up private banking for people so that you do not have to file by IRS code. No requirement for filing, no requirement for paying taxes. You run your own private bank.
Interesting. So I'm curious, what inspired you to pursue your current path, and how's your vision evolved along the way?
Let's see. I'm the youngest of 4 boys, and so I got beat up a lot. I got harassed a lot. I
Right.
was the nerd. And coming from an engineering background, I like to get into the intricacies of things to figure out how they work. So when I graduated college was right almost at the very moment that the first Mac computer came out,
Wow.
and the first computer basically came out. So I took that engineering background and I looked at these computing systems and I was like, this thing is really interesting. Like, what
Wow, of
can you
course.
do with this?
Right.
So things took off and I was like, wow, this whole computer world is really amazing. So basically that was my career.
So people think of private banking as something only for the ultra wealthy. How can a regular person, like a nomad, build their own private banking system to become their own source of finances?
Right. So there's a couple ways to do it, right? You can do it through the traditional way with
Hmm.
LLCs and trusts
Okay.
and insurance, a particular type of way that you can structure your insurance to use an insurance company as your private bank. But there's another way that I discovered that is far, far simpler
Okay.
and really contains all of the elements that you need in a private structure, right? So ideally, we don't want to have to submit to the big boss, Uncle Sam,
Mm,
right? But in 1933, when they created the Social Security system and the W 2 system, how you get paid in a public way, that forces you into paying taxes and being a public entity.
right.
So, as long as you continue to remain in that public mind space,
Of course.
by getting a W 2, by filling out the tax form that says, I comply to pay taxes when you sign it, you're stuck in that loop, right? But a guy across the street could be doing the same money that you're doing, but he's doing it a little different because he's working as a contractor or he's working for himself. So, as a contractor, you get paid a different way. It's called the 1099. So, how you treat that 1099 is important. It does that 1099. Are you working as a contractor with your own social security number,
I
or are
see.
you working it with a different EIN?
Okay.
So, how you get paid, whether you get paid through your person or a different entity called an EIN, makes a huge difference. But there's different types of EINs. There's
I see.
public EINs, which are incorporated EINs, and there's also unincorporated EINs. So selecting the correct EIN will make a big difference. When you select the right one, now you've created a private bank. And that private bank means you get paid directly into your EIN entity, which you control. So essentially, under Title 26 of US Tax Code, you're allowed to originate, operate, and terminate your entity without reporting or disclosure of any type.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So is
You know,
that how you bypass like the credit score system to get funding?
yes,
Interesting.
right. So in the past, in the international equities markets, you had to have your own cash, right? It was kind of for the wealthy because you had to have your own money. But 20 years ago, small companies started coming into the forefront and they were saying, hey, if you want to borrow our money, we will allow you to trade that money after we run you through an acid test. And if we like what you're doing, we want you to trade our money and we'll take a cut, but you'll do the work. So we'll both make money. Now, originally, this model was very expensive to get involved with. It was hard to do. Companies haven't figured out how to, tweak the model. And it was so new that not that many people were doing it. But uh, so if you had a $200,000 account back in the day, you could trade your own money. But it was also a risk, right? You need to be psychologically stable to handle that kind of responsibility, right? It's important. And I got caught in the not the Bear Stearns, but the what was the name of that big brokerage in New York that went under? Okay, it's not coming to me, but there was a large brokerage that I was with, and they had billions of dollars and they invested it in Europe and they went bankrupt. So if you had an account with them at that time, you pretty much lost your account, which is what happened to me.
Wow.
So when you create a private bank and you're using somebody else's money, then what's the risk? The risk is way low. The risk is like running a landscaping business. It can only fail if you don't show up. That's pretty cool.
So paint me a picture here. I seen on your website about teaching introverts how to trade. I'm a situational introvert, as I like to call it. But I open up my computer. I'm not technical. What am I doing? What am I looking at? How do I make money?
Okay, that's a good question. Um, there's 4 phases to my program. Let me answer it this way, and then I'll answer that question directly. One of the big things that people don't understand is that creating debt is a super important thing.
So there
When
is good. So there is good debt.
correct,
Okay.
any debt is good debt.
Okay.
That's the misnomer. When you use the credit system, I have a
Mhm.
gnat. When you use the credit system correctly, that debt can be very good. So, you, in short, there's an enormous pool of cash that the Fed controls that is available for every American. That's good debt. You can you can get that cash. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars of that cash. That's part 1. 2, creating a private bank. 3, getting private funding. My relationship with my current banker is that I could get you up to $6 million in business capital in the next 24 hours
Without them looking
without,
at my history, without them looking at my past.
correct, without credit. No
And
credit
that is
score
because
required.
I have an LLC in place.
No, it's because you're a human being. Any human being right now, I can get up to 6 million in business capital for in the next 24 hours just by being an American citizen.
And what are they looking at?
Your name.
Sorry for my skepticism, but it's like, what do you mean?
So then I take that capital, put it into the equity markets, and I've developed a very simple system that allows me to scrape. It's a new, I think the current term is scrape. I heard a guy recently on Facebook, he was doing Bitcoin scraping.
Okay.
So we can scrape these markets to the tune of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, $10,000 per day, very safely using other people's money. Now, how I do that, you have to come into the mastermind group. So I run mastermind groups 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, at certain market times. So my time's going to be different because I'm in Maui versus somebody who's in New York or somebody who's in California, which doesn't really make any difference. You just get up at the time that you need. That's the appropriate time to watch the markets do their thing. So the way that we trade is the market has a psychology, and there are certain things that the market does on a regular basis for decades that really hasn't changed, in the same way that you have roughly the same protocol when you wake up in the morning. You do roughly the same thing for the first hour or 2 every morning, and the markets do the same thing.
Okay. And what is that?
Well, the markets represent a vibration of human psychology,
Okay. Okay.
and I can track that psychology. There's a wave pattern, there's a vibrational wave pattern that is emitted from the markets on a minute by minute basis.
Okay.
By tracking and understanding that vibrational wave pattern, we can predict with a fairly high degree of accuracy where the market is going to be in the next minute, 5 minutes, or even the next hour. That's what I specialize in, is the vibrational wave pattern of the market and where it's likely to be. I do it so well that I have a 97% probability rating in my trading.
Off of wow.
Right.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
I frequently hit 100%. Um, I didn't do anything today. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was, uh, well, as an average, I'm above 97%.
How many trades a day do you take?
It depends. Depends what the market is doing. Uh, it's generally between 3 and 10.
And what's your win rate be? Let's say
That's what I'm
10.
saying. It's
Okay.
97%.
Okay,
Right.
97%.
Now, the reason that it's high is because I'm not just clicking and saying, "Oh, this looks good." I'm analyzing, waiting. I'm looking for the right setups. And what's interesting is that people talk about these candle patterns, um, or specific structure, all of the standard structures that you'll find on the internet don't really work very well. The people that use them talk frequently about a 60% win rate or a 70% win rate,
Mhm.
maybe 80%, but 60, 65 is very common. It's because of AI and all the bots that people have been building for the last 20 years.
Mhm.
They do okay, but the bots don't do what the human eye can do because some of my trades are only 20 seconds.
Uh-huh.
The average trade is about 3 minutes.
Mhm.
And so when you're talking about these quick variations in the market, I mean, at some point AI might be able to do it, but
Right,
and
right, right.
I'd love to build that model, but for right now, it's just hand-eye coordination.
Well, let's
Right.
talk about AI. How has it impacted what you do and how are you utilizing it?
It's made the markets a little bit more jumpy, a
What do
little
you
it's made the markets a little bit um what we call choppy.
Mhm.
So they're not exhibiting patterns as frequently as they would have 20 years ago. Now the patterns are a little more muddy,
I see, I see.
muddy. So when they're muddy, it's not bad. You can still trade these markets,
Mhm.
but it's a different approach because you're trading in the mud or in the chop. It's not necessarily that much more difficult, but it does require a little bit different of an approach.
Where do you see but besides the investment of AI or taking that into consideration, where do you see your industry going over the next 5 to 10 years and what are you doing to stay ahead of the curve?
I don't see it changing at all. It's been the same since they created the NASDAQ market around 1910, the Dow around 1910. I don't know the exact date. Uh, it's been the same. It's going to be the same. They're not going to change. And that's the reason that the system that I use can't be, it doesn't need to be adjusted. I mean, I may make small adjustments to my style on a day-to-day basis, but the bigger picture is that the markets are already highly manipulated. They will continue to be highly manipulated. 75, 80% of market structure is already controlled by algorithms, by AI. And you can see it in the markets. You'll see these patterns that are very sometimes rhythmic, and you can just tell it's being done by a computer. So I really don't see the markets changing. That's what's great about this business is that fast forward 10 years, I really believe we're going to be doing the same thing in almost exactly the same way. And I just don't see these markets changing. So that's why during 2008, during COVID, during any economic crisis, this business continues to deliver amazing profits. There's no turn down at all.
How would something like this work for someone like me who, I have difficulty putting together IKEA furniture, right? Like I don't have a technical brain, right? I read some of the trade-in Bible, right? But and I started to look at these charts and the candles. It was overwhelming, right? And I desired to find a way to just make it simplistic, right? And I seen a lot of auto traders and stuff. I'm like, and it's confidence in the teacher as well too. What does your program offer?
Okay. When you learned to drive a car,
Hmm.
what did you first do?
Hand on the steering wheel.
Exactly. Did you learn on a stick shift?
No, no, no.
No.
Standard.
Can you drive a stick shift?
Yes, I can.
Okay, but so at some point you did learn.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So when you learn to do these things, you've got three different pedals that your feet have to operate. You've got a wheel. Uh, you've got a stick sticking, out of the hump with your right hand. If I took you to England and the clutch was on the opposite side
Uh,
and the stick was in your left hand, could you learn to drive in a week?
it'll be an adjustment, but yeah,
But you could do it, right?
yeah.
So when I sit you down on the charts, you'll be speaking to me with a headset, with a microphone. You'll be listening directly to me and you'll be interacting with me in exactly the same way that we're interacting right now.
So am I taking the same trades that you're taking, or is
Yes, right. So
at 5 a.m.?
I'll be directing you exactly when to enter and when to exit. And so the training, the mastermind sessions, you're doing almost exactly the same thing that I'm doing at the exact same moment, only you're looking at your screen. I'm looking at my screen, but our screens are identical. So, since our screens are identical, when I'm speaking at a price level and I'm saying, get in here, get out here, do this, do that, your mouse clicks are going to be essentially exactly the same as my mouse clicks.
I
So,
see.
this is how I can get you spooled up so quickly because you'll be trading through my eyes. You'll be operating your new capital business through my eyes and learning directly from somebody who's been doing it for over 20 years. Now,
Interesting.
this is different because traditional coaches tell you go through my course and then you need to get on the charts and learn, and you can join our trading room, but you'll have to just listen. I do it differently in that I'm actually speaking and asking you questions,
Mm,
but I'll be telling you exactly where to get in and where to get out. I'll even tell you this is going to be a quick trade, maybe a 20-second trade. Or I'll tell you this trade's going to be, we had one last night that lasted 8 hours.
wow,
So,
that's the whole day of the market.
yeah, it just depends. Well, the market's open 22 hours a day,
Okay, okay.
actually about 23, but there's a core 22 hours that the market is open.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, the trade depends on whether we're in the Tokyo market, the London market, or the US market. So when we put all this together, we're going to be mind melding, if you've ever heard that term. We're going to do a mind meld, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
do that mind meld on a daily basis, right? Every day we're doing this mastermind meld. And so that's how I can get you or people spooled up so quickly, is through this mind connection where I'm broadcasting exactly what's going on in my mind to yours. It makes things move along really quickly. It's pretty cool.
So you say that, so I'm assuming someone comes in your mastermind, you help get them funding from the banks, or
Yes,
okay, so they're technically, and what's the success rate with that, with getting people approved? Because I'm skeptical of that,
of course you are.
right? Like, what does that really look like and
Okay.
realistic?
So here's what happened. This is going to sound strange, but here's what has happened to almost every one of the over 200 uh, students that I personally worked with over the last few years, is that people come in and they start making a lot of money, over $1,000 a day. And then they go into this, what I call the God mode, which is, oh, I can't lose. This is great.
Their
What do
own
I need?
psychology takes over. Yeah,
What
yeah.
do I need Shifu for? I don't need you. I can do this myself. And then they commence to going what I call off roading.
Hmm.
And they go, well, can I trade gold? Can I trade platinum? Can I trade this other stuff?
Right.
And they haven't even proven themselves yet, right? But they've already determined that they know better, and they go into God mode and then they lose. They blow their account.
Interesting.
Then what happens is they restart the account and they're still in the acid test phase. And it goes like this: make 30,000, blow 30,000, make 40,000, blow 40,000, make 60,000, blow 60,000, make 10,000, blow 10,000, and over and over and over. It happens to a lot of people because when money starts pouring into your account, something happens in the human brain. And this is why so many people have trouble trading.
Mm.
And
They
that's
have to
it.
get though they have
It
to get out their own way, as people say.
You have to get out of your own way. So it's it's not that trading is that difficult, but you have to get your brain viewing the markets and you have to change your response. So like if you if you go on a date and you think, "Oh my gosh, this gal's so amazing. I've got to date her," and she says yes and you go out, but if you're not giving her the right responses,
Mhm.
then there's an increasing probability that she's going to shut you down.
Of course.
Okay. Same thing in the markets. If you don't have the appropriate response to a particular move in the market at the right moment, the markets will shut you down. And that's because the markets are completely unemotional. They don't care about you. I mean, they literally don't care. And that's why mostly men are in this business, because the women that I've trained typically do not last because they get over emotional.
Mm.
I mean, seriously, over emotional. I had one client this last year, and after trading once a week without fail, she'd call me and start crying and, oh, why,
I'm
why?
sure there's some outliers out there that some outlier women who have made it to the top in trading.
There's lots of
Yeah.
great ladies who are really good traders, and it's
Mm,
because they've separated the emotional part from the technical or the statistical part.
mhm.
And so you have to put on your risk management hat, your account management hat, because ultimately your job is to protect your account. That's it, to protect it. You're a protector.
How much are these trades? Like, how much are you putting in? Like, what's the minimum? What's the like, how does that work?
Well, so let's just say you have a small account. We'll keep it simple, a small $300,000 account.
Small. Okay.
In an account, you're not going to want to risk on any day more than 1%,
Okay. Okay.
right? But you want to earn roughly 1% per day. If you want to be even more cautious, which I like, I earn between 0.2% to about 0.8% per day on that type of an account. So it depends on the day, it depends on the opportunity, it
Hmm.
depends on my sleep schedule, it depends if I woke up in a good mood, it depends if I am taking care of not only my physical body, but also my mental state.
Most
Because
definitely.
ultimately, how I respond to market activity is going to determine how much I earn that day, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So we we don't we want to be consistent, nice, easy waves of consistency
Consistency.
and not, these big, gigantic crashing waves of inconsistency.
I see.
So that's what makes a really good trader. And sometimes people can get there very quickly, and sometimes they can't. Because if you have an extreme sense of fear, that could keep you out of good trades and could get you in bad trades. If you have an extreme sense of greed or revenge in your life because you're at a certain point in your life and you haven't made it, and then you find somebody like me and then you want to make it, you could be
Mhm.
like very greedy very quickly.
Interesting.
Now, if you're greedy quickly and instantly you make, say in 1 week you make 30 grand,
Right.
how's your headspace going to be on that weekend? Are you going to be chill, but maybe you'll go out to a nice dinner and then you'll show up Monday morning and you'll do the same thing? Or do you go to this massive rave party and live it up, and Monday morning you're a mess, and then all of a sudden the market gives you this big gigantic wave and you blow it and you blow 15,000?
Mm.
So how you respond, how you live your life through consistency and clarity makes a huge, huge difference in my ability to teach, mentor, train, coach, and get you on this nice, even, comfortable wave.
Listen, Shifu, I learned a lot. Our guests have learned a lot. I already crafted the email I'm gonna send you
Okay.
after
Very
this.
good.
Right?
Uh,
This is we're only supposed to go for 15 minutes, right? Like this is so interesting. I want to have you back on to do a deep dive. Um, but listen, this is amazing. How can people find you? How can they get in contact?
you can reach me at info, at Kaivalya.trading. That's Kaivalya, Kaivalya dot trading. or you can go directly to my website, kaivalya.trading, and there'll be a video there. You can get more information on me. You could sign up for my $97 course. We can have a conversation. I'm open to conversations, which is what I do every day, and finding out what's going on in your life and how we can make a big change for you in this business. Because it's a super, I just, the reason I love it is as an introvert, you don't have to do any social media anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can literally live in a cave and do this business. It's it's
Yes.
really that simple.
Shifu, thank you. It's been a pleasure, man. I
Thank you
really
so much, Andrew.